Welcome. We have got quite a show for you today. Oh my goodness gracious. You are going to love this one. I mean, look, Jeff Nucera is with us, and I'm going to pull him up in just 1 second. He is the director of the documentary Tight and Nerdy on the burlesque troupe that dances and strips entirely to Weird Al's music. And already the chat is full of folks. So come on in, list your questions and your comments as we go. We will answer them live. It's a lively chat. We've got some good folks, some new folks to the channel today. And yes, Mr. Townsell, this is the Weird Al combo you didn't know you needed until just now. And this is going to kick off my personal Summer of Al, because I'm going to see Weird Al perform 3 times this summer in 3 different locations across this fine country of ours. And we're going to start it off right. Before we get to that, super quickly, I just want to do a little bit of NLE business for you. First and foremost, right? If you guys got any questions for me out there, you can send them to info@nleacademy.com. We got a ton of programs coming up. We've got a great boot camp coming up. The June 25th boot camp. Of course, I forgot to upload the image file. Of course, why would I do that prior to that? But here it is. I'm going to do it now. Oh, I can only share 10 images at once. Okay, we've got too many images up, but there it is. Everything that Jeff has done has been on Avid. His doc was cut on Avid. He's a producer who's produced for editors that are cutting on Avid. If you've been meaning to learn Avid, June 15th, I'm sorry, my bad, June 14th and 15th, go to this link, June 2025, avidbootcamp.eventbrite.com. If you enter this coupon code YTBC25, you will bring the cost of that from $400 down to $50. You don't have to be a genius in finance to see how you can't afford not to take this boot camp. So come, take this boot camp with me. Also, right, we've got a deep dive. If you want to take a deep dive with me, a 3-hour deep dive and go over all the stuff about your career, what's going on, Jeff and I are just nonstop talking about the implosion of our industry. So if you need help with that, if you want to learn a bunch of stuff for your resume and for your reel, what the AI is looking for when it's searching your resume, come take a deep dive with me. Let me help you chart a course for your career and help you navigate these waters. Coupon code cuts $500 off the cost of this 3-hour deep dive. YT Deep 2025. It was only after I made that coupon code that I thought, maybe not it's a little racy, but I don't think it's going to get us kicked off of YouTube. And last but not least, if you're wondering, is Avid right for me? Is a deep dive right for me? Come take a free consult. Calendly.com/DJBTV/consult20. Come take a 20-minute free, my favorite price for anything, free consult. And I'd be glad to talk to you about what's going on, whether you're right for any of my programs or not. Come take a little 20-minute break with me, and let's talk about what's going on in your career and how we can get you on track. If you're already an Avid editor, but want to know what I think the most important settings are, go to nleacademy.com/avid guide. I've got a free PDF for you. Again, free. Come on. There's no better price. And lastly, before we bring Jeff out, and we're just about to, I want to just make a quick plug right here, because friend of the show, John Weber, has many things going on over at Weber Internet Thingy. Now, just know that I am a non-monetized channel. I'm not getting a payback from anyone. This is just, this is what I do on my Thursdays. I join Weber for the Web O Mystery, where he plays radio shows from way back in the day. I've learned so much about old time radio and its impact on the industry, even to this day. So this one's going to be great. I'm hopping over there when we're done over at Weber Internet Thingy on the YouTubes. Check him out. It's Jack Webb, no relation to the Web of Mystery, but only as it is what's playing tonight. Jack Webb apparently was a funny guy. You'd never know it by Dragnet, maybe only unintentionally. But hop over there after us. We're the lead-in. Go over to Weber Internet Thingy on the YouTubes. He's got a lot of stuff going on. If you're a Star Trek fan, especially, you're going to want to check that out. We love John Weber, friend of the show, friend of the people, encourager of merriment. Okay, we are back. Let us bring on our guest of honor. Are you ready? Nothing is better. Let's bring out Jeff Nucera. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Nucera. We're on
hi.
Sides. Hi, how you doing?
I'm all right. So wait, is this not a job interview?
I'm hiring you.
Great.
I'm hiring you immediately.
I can start right now.
Produce everything for me. It is for deferred payment. I hope that's okay. I know.
I'm a deferred producer, so it's fine.
Yeah. As we all are right now. It's just a crazy time. And we will definitely talk a little bit more about that. I do love that you got your name up there as UH Jeff.
Well, sure.
Perfect.
I'm Brandon.
Perfect for a topic. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Hey, look at this.
Oh.
Hello. Wolfman. We've got some.
Christine.
Hello. Look at this. We've got, hey, Raphael is in the house. I love it.
Please
and we got a little, we got a little extra pimping for Web O Mystery.
Nice.
Christine right here. Hey, that is a great question. We're going to get to that question in just a second.
How exciting.
So we've got a lot. There's a lively chat going down. David Baker. Hello, David Baker. Friend of NLE Academy. We love David. You, dude. Welcome. So glad you could join us for today. And yeah, a great doubleheader. And I'll repimp the Weber Internet Thingy at the end. So, Jeff, let's get down to brass tacks right now.
Oh, gosh.
I want to hear your journey first and foremost. How'd you get to be a TV producer? Where'd you come from? How'd you get here? What's going on?
That is a great question, and I don't know. I just sort of ended up here. You know how when you drive the freeway and you're just sort of in a comatose state? That kind of happened to me, and now I'm in reality TV. Hooray!
Which I love and consume.
I was in I was a writer's assistant on a variety show called The Wayne Brady Show. Yes, and
I watched that show.
The variety show or the talk show?
I watched the variety show.
Okay. So I was on the variety show as a writer's assistant, and the showrunner went off to go do The Osbournes. It was a brand new series. And I went over there as his assistant and have been in reality TV ever since.
Right on. How was it working with The Osbournes?
It was super fun. I mean, that was a really fun docu-series, really. They shot a ton of footage, and we sort of didn't have a plan until it came into post of like what the episodes were going to look like. And they would use, they would shoot for like 10 days for a half hour, which, back then we could get away with. Now, as you know, it is not quite the same.
Right.
It's very much, we're in a soft scripted world now for most reality shows. But back then it was like doing a documentary. Back then it was still pretty run and gun, right? It wasn't as now there's nothing that's happening in a reality show that's accidental.
They didn't just happen to go to a bar that night. That was a planned thing. That was a planned shoot. They didn't follow them to where they were. It's not like, Real World, the first season.
Yeah, there was a rawness back then where they didn't really know. Not that they didn't know how to produce it, but they didn't know, what was going to happen, and they wanted to really catch the truth, and that's what made it so fun. We turned it into a half-hour comedy, a family comedy, and it was really fun to watch. I learned a ton on that show.
I love that. I have a soft spot for the Osbournes. I'm just going to come out and say it. I really do. Is Ozzy like, when the camera stops, is Ozzy like I just picture him like it's all an act. He's like, and the camera turns off and he's like a rocket scientist. He's like a genius. That's what I like to pretend.
He's very smart, but he was not putting on an act.
That is him.
He just was, he was a lovely guy, who had his demons, of course, but at the end of the day, they were a really loving family. They just were not traditional.
Right. Well, you can't have Ozzy Osbourne as the head of the family and be a traditional family, for sure.
Right.
Yeah. Well, all right. So, one thing I want to bring up, we've got to touch on a little bit, is the fact that you and I worked for New Wave Entertainment in Burbank at the same time, never met each other. We're on different shows.
Yes, I was hiding a lot during my time there. It's
easy to hide there.
That was rough.
I was in Avid suite not for the pilot. I was in a really great suite for the pilot, and then when I came back to edit the series, Tourgasm, Dane Cook's Tourgasm, had taken over all the good suites. And I was in Avid 26, which is it was a storage closet, I think, originally, that was converted into an edit suite.
That's right.
But I loved it because it was tucked away and, quiet. There was more than,
Yeah, Tourgasm was actually my second show there. I had done a show a year before that, which was their first reality show.
Oh,
and
wow.
it did not go great. It was a show about Catherine Oxenberg and Casper Van Dien called I Married a Princess. It was Lifetime's first reality show. It was New Wave Entertainment's first reality show. And they had hired me because I had worked on the Osbournes and I had worked on Newlyweds Nick and Jessica, which were both, MTV darlings and, ratings hits. And they wanted something similar to that. And I was, a story producer on those shows. I was not in charge of anything, but they let me be in charge of the story department on these shows. And I was the only one on staff who had worked any sort of unscripted fare. And I just remember the endless arguments about how we did things on the Osbournes and Newlyweds. And I was like, they shot a ton of stuff. And that's why it's so pure and honest and is resonating. And they were like, we don't believe you. Like, we don't believe that for a second. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you then. So they hired they hired some consultants who had also somehow never done a reality show before. Like, they just kept making it worse. And it was quite a frustrating experience.
Do you want to briefly tell the story? The story.
I will tell the story.
You want to tell the story? Because I just want to set the stage. If you hear this story just in passing, if you saw the story rather on TV as something that happened to someone on TV, you'd be like, that's not realistic. That would never happen in real life.
Yeah. And then I'm here to tell you,
it freaking did.
Can and does happen, as it turns out. I had gotten into yet another heated discussion about something stupid, I'm sure. And I just and New Wave was a pretty big company. They had done a lot of they had a ton of employees there. There were just people around. And I marched into my office and I threw my notepad on the desk and was just complaining to my coworkers about how much I hated it there and how terrible everybody was and how miserable I was. And one of the employees comes running in to my office and dives for my desk because I had thrown my notebook onto the telephone and turned on the pager. So I was announcing my rage to everyone in the building.
And it's, I mean, it took me 5 full minutes to walk from my edit suite to the other editor who is working on the show. It's a massive, massive, massive building.
And she was just like, "You're paging everyone." And I'm like, "Oh, God, of course. That's how this gets worse." Okay. Nobody said a word.
Truth is stranger than fiction. Yeah, luckily you weren't fired for that.
Yeah, luckily, yes.
Well, luckily, right. It is true, Joe Townsell. Truth is stranger than fiction.
Hi, Kitty.
And we've got an appearance from Cashew here. My brother chimes, if you can't teach. If you can't teach Jim. If you can't teach Jim, become an administrator. If you can't be an administrator, become a consultant. No truer words e'er been spoke. Absolutely. Well, all right. So you're here.
I am.
You're a producer. You produce shows, and if anyone's out there and needs a producer for reality TV, this is the guy. This guy is phenomenal. So I just want to do a quick plug to anyone out there who's like, hey, we could use a producer. Hire that guy.
Thanks. I promise not to rage at you over the paging system.
Yeah. You were younger. That was a long time ago. That was literally 20 years ago.
Yes. I had hair back then and everything.
Me too. But okay, let's get to the meat of the potato and talk about what everybody's here to hear about. Let's talk about Cashew. And of course, Tight and Nerdy.
Oh my goodness.
Look at this.
Tight and Nerdy. How about that? Tight and Nerdy is a documentary, pre-award winning documentary.
It is pre-award winning. I like that. It is. Go ahead and why don't you explain to us about Tight and Nerdy?
Tight and Nerdy, the movie, is the story of Tight and Nerdy, the burlesque troupe. And they are the world's first and only Weird Al burlesque troupe. They perform exclusively to Al's music. And it has to be seen to be believed. It is a wonderful, weird experience.
Having seen it this year, no, Chris asked if that Margaret show. It is not. But she is equally as hilarious.
That is Pickles Quintaro, I believe you're asking
Pickles about. Quintaro.
She is the founder of Tight and Nerdy.
There she is right there. As she has an equally slamming body to Margaret Cho and is equally as hilarious as Margaret Cho is. Having seen myself the Tight and Nerdy, the troupe, at Sketchfest this year, I can tell you if they play anywhere near you where you are, you got to see them. They are absolutely fantastic. It was tremendous. How did you find them? How'd you get involved? I think people may not know that you are, in fact, a buddy of Weird Al's. Not just that right there, but where's my favorite one? Here it is. Come on. If that's not the best,
share food.
Come on.
Our friend Zeb Lemke made that amazing Photoshop. That makes me so happy. And then of course we've got the other Photoshop. Now here's the original. This is a young, look at that, like a 12-year-old Jeff Nucera. 1996. My first photo with Al. That's the first day I met him, and was backstage after the show, and it was so lovely.
How did you get backstage after the show?
I was friends with John Bermuda Schwartz, Al's drummer, who had reached out to me after finding my name on the Weird Al message boards because he thought I was someone else. So he emailed me some sort of totally incomprehensible inside joke, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I recognize your name, and it was the biggest mistake he ever could have made, because I just latched on, and here I am, like 30 years later.
I love it. I love it. Well, look, I mean, and then a shout out to the late graphic artist who did this with that photo.
Imagine my surprise scrolling through Instagram one day and seeing this in my feed.
So great. Oh my God. I would have squealed like out loud.
It really hurt my brain. I was like, did I make my story up? Wait a minute.
David Baker knows the Alapalooza shirt, in fact. Yes, good eye.
Yes, I could not have been nerdier.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. All right. So now there you befriend Bermuda Schwartz.
Yes.
You befriend Mr. Yankovic.
Yes.
And tell us the story. Then how did you find Tight and Nerdy? How did you find the girls? How did we get from here to there?
So from here, I'd been a fan all my life, and just, was, in the fandom, participating online, and then, Bermuda found me and plucked me out of obscurity. But, over the years, I kept in touch. And when I moved to LA in 1999, pretty quickly, they hired me to sort Al's fan mail. Probably like within a year of me being in LA, I got hired to do that, because the person who was doing it before me moved, and I just, took over. And so it became a, very part-time job while I was PAing at the time. And, it just snowballed from there. Anytime they need some sort of odd job, no pun intended, done, I will happily volunteer.
And is that how you got the Weird Al pinball machine that sits behind you?
No,
right
I
now?
Purchased that as a fan, because
Okay.
I do have some mental problems still.
I love it so much. I really want to play it.
Come on over
really
anytime.
Yeah.
I'm not working. Just come play pinball.
I'm marginally employed, so let's do that. But okay. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, so, over the years, people will send me stuff all the time. I'm just like, oh, Weird Al this, Weird Al that. And our friend Ludovica out in England came across the Tight and Nerdy troupe and was like, they're playing in LA, you have to go. And I was like, yeah, I do. You're correct. And so a couple of friends and I went over to check them out, and it was just like, what is happening? What is this magical, crazy show? It's just the women on that stage are just hilarious. One of my favorite acts that night was Audra Wolfman, who's here somewhere.
Audra, shout out.
Yes, she's wearing the hat in this photo. But she did a performance to Bob, which is a really deep cut Al original, made up entirely of palindromes, in the style of Bob Dylan. And she just went up there and did this performance to it. And I was like, the fact that these people know this song is impressive to me, as a nerdy fan. And they were so funny. And so loved it, went to see them a couple of times. And at some point, Pickles reached out to me and said, do you think there's a documentary here? Do you think there's some sort of story here? And usually, I don't know if this happens to you, Diana, but when people ask me that, I'm usually like, no, there's not. Like, stop it. Like, you're not that fascinating. But I did a phone call with her and with some of the other players, and just I was like, God, there really is something here, and it's something beautiful, and it's something honest and sweet, and we all sort of share the same. We grew up as outsiders. We're all a bunch of nerds, and you find your people over the course of fandoms and in however you have to. And that's really what this movie's about. It's like finding your people and finding your tribe and owning your weirdness, which is what our friend Al really stands for.
Right. Well, let's give the folks a quick peek. Let's watch the trailer.
Oh my goodness. Okay. If you insist.
I'm insisting.
Strap in, everybody.
I'm insisting. Are you ready, folks? Here we go. Let's take a look. Here's the trailer to Tight and Nerdy. Now, I did also see a recent cut of the documentary. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
I feel like it's ready, push it out in the world, but I think you're waiting on a couple of rights to come through, a couple of copyrights to clear.
But if you've signed off on it, I think it's done.
I've signed off on it. I say it's done. It's absolutely fantastic.
Thank
you. Honestly, I can't get enough of it. And the troupe themselves. As you will see, let's take a look. Here is the trailer for Tight and Nerdy.
It's a little flattering and it's a little disturbing to have a Weird Al burlesque. It's definitely something.
My mama told me when I was hatched, act like a superstar. Save your allowance, buy a bubble dress, and someday you will go far. Now on the carpets I'm hard to miss, the press follows everywhere I go. Hey, I'll poke your eye out with a dress like this, like I've been enjoying the show. I'm sure my critics will say it's a grotesque display. Well, they can bite me, baby, I perform this way. I might be wearing Swiss cheese or maybe covered with bees. It doesn't mean I'm crazy, I perform this way.
Well, that was really the reason that I started making music in the first place. First and foremost, my music is a vehicle to get people to take off their clothes. And I'm just glad that it's finally working.
Baby, I perform this way.
Oh yeah, did we mention Weird Al is in it?
Yes, Weird Al is in it, and we have proof right here. There is Jeff interviewing the man, the myth, the legend, Weird Al. The reason I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt today is Weird Al.
I definitely wasn't going to throw up that day at all. I was fine. Why?
I mean, look how it looks so. You look so Hollywood in this. I wish your glasses were like tinted, though. That's the only thing we're really missing in this picture.
You're right. I have known Al for a long time, since the 90s. And I just have never been more frightened on a set than I was that day. Just because it was like, oh, he's coming into my set and this is really weird. Like, this is really scary. But he's a pro, and he was so great, and came fully prepared, and it was wonderful. It was a wonderful day.
I love that. I love that so much. How was it to interview Al? I mean, just okay, I'm assuming you had a list of questions. Mm-hmm. You knew the stuff you needed to fill in. I'm sure. I'm guessing you interviewed him late in the process, right? So that you would know the kind of things that you would want.
We interviewed him kind of early on. I mean, we had no idea. This is my first documentary. My producing partner, Jonathan, and co-director, Jonathan, we've never done this on our own before. Wow. I had no idea that this was going to take the better part of our lives. Like, we started shooting in the 1920s, I think. So we're coming up on 100 years, and it's wonderful.
the thing that people don't realize when they come up to people who are in the business and they say, "Hey, got a great idea for a documentary." It's like, you're seeing yourself watching a great documentary in a theater.
Mhm.
We're watching our lives get flushed down the toilet for a minimum of a decade.
Yeah. So we're approaching that decade now. Like, truly, it's going to be 10 years, I think, next year.
I was going to ask. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks, it shows on the screen though, too. I mean, there's a
It's
lot
in black and white. Yeah.
Well, yeah, from the 20s, you know, but it's a talkie, though. I want people to understand it is a talkie. Yeah, it's been a great century. Indeed, it has, man.
We just, yeah, these women have been such sports over the years, like just open, honest, wonderful, and you know, and just patient.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
And there's just so fantastic, and it was fascinating. It was just fascinating to hear each one of their journeys, how each one came to, what each one's life was like, how each one came to it. I just loved it. I can't speak more highly about it. When it finally lands, and it's got to be soon, right, man? I mean,
you would think.
You would think. How close are we on the rights to the last?
We have I think 2 more songs that we're waiting on clearances for. You know, all of Al's stuff. You know, he doesn't own the parodies outright. Right. So we have to go to the original artists. It's taking a while. It's taking forever. But Al himself, you know, has given us permission to use his original songs. They are acting as our score throughout the film. It's really exciting. Like as a fan and as a nerd, I'm just so excited to have this happening.
Yeah, in fact, Fred, Eat It was a part of the show. It's got to be. I mean, you can't not have it. And as witnessed by Audra, as verified.
Yes, Mistress Marla Spanks comes out in her lunch lady outfit and performs to Eat It, and it's just magical.
It's so great. And, you know, and of course the Spam can outfit and the way the reveal from the, you know, because you're looking at the costume and you're like, how is that going to reveal? How is she going to get naked in the Spam can?
Yes, that is Pearly Gates, and she is a mad genius. I mean, they're all mad geniuses, but Pearly's costume designs are like, it's truly gasp worthy. I don't know how else to say it.
That's right, Joe Townsend. The Hawaiian shirt runs deep. It runs deep. Something else must have distracted you. Couldn't have been Audra's costume right up front. Yeah, couldn't have been. Well, here's a really good question. What was the biggest surprise for you along this journey of nearly a decade now? That is an excellent question.
I mean, outside of just how long it took, I was honestly surprised that like I was surprised at how open all of these women were as humans, and like just the connection we shared throughout this journey, and how, like, you know, they were never impatient with us. They were never, you know, furious that we were there. At least if they were, they weren't showing it to me, at least. But just knowing that, like, there's oh my goodness, there we go.
Oh yeah, there you go. Oh, perfect.
Yes, like, just knowing that we have like all of this in common. We have so much in common, and it's all because of Weird Al. Like, you know, we were all outsider nerds, and we're still outsider nerds, but now we're making a movie about it.
Titan nerdy. There he goes.
Chris Bay.
Nice. Nice. Slow 1980s slow clap, movie slow clap for you on that one, Christopher. Love that. Well, and let's talk about where Al got his start, right? We gotta do a tip of the hat. This is where Jeff and I met.
Yes.
Actually, we met at the year before at Dr. Demento's birthday party, and started talking and realized we had new wave entertainment in common.
Yes, trauma bonding, so as the kids say.
Immediate trauma bond. But here we are with Dr. Demento, and who gave Al his start. Yes. Played by Rainn Wilson in the movie Weird. And I got to, when I met Al at Dr. D's party, I was talking to him about Weird had just come out, and he originally was supposed to be Patton Oswalt playing Dr. Demento, but Patton had broken his foot in like 3 places, and he'll never go back to those 3 places. And Al was like, we really need Dr. Demento to walk. It's kind of sort of important. And with like only 3 days notice, Rainn Wilson took over for Patton Oswalt. So it's a little bit of trivia, but we got to do a tip of the hat to Dr. D, because without Dr. D, there may be no Weird Al. Weird Al would just be a really funny architect.
Yes. And what kind of world is that?
No, I don't want to live in that world. Somewhere there's a parallel universe where that happens.
Yes.
And that is a sad universe.
In that universe, I have slept a lot more than I have in the last 10 years.
Yeah. Indeed. No doubt. Dr. Demento it was for so many. My brother, who is in the audience today, he is the one he discovered Dr. Demento on the radio. He's older than I am. And then, of course, our house was filled with nothing but fish heads and dead puppies for the remainder of his time in our home.
That's how you make a house a home.
It's really true.
Yeah.
It is really true. Well, all right, let's talk about the edit of Tight and Nerdy for a second. Let's get nerdy on the editing side of things for a second. So talk about, now I know you guys cut on Avid, which is really, it's kind of amazing to think of where we were earlier in our careers, where you couldn't possibly have an Avid in your house.
Right.
It was like $100,000. It was like so expensive. Like it was its own whole computer.
Yeah.
And now, I have Avid right now on this very computer.
Same.
So, so you cut on Avid, which I love.
Me too.
It's so great. Do you do any editing on Premiere? Have you done any producing?
I have done some producing on Premiere. I did not love it. It's not for me. And same with Final Cut. It's just not for me. I learned on Avid when producers started to get stations. I just dove right in and I found it to be very user-friendly. Our editor, Candace Craig, who is Emmy nominated, wonderful, brilliant. She's an Avid diehard too.
Love it. So what's your process when you work with editors? What are you looking for from your editors? What's your collaboration like?
I love making a string out. And I respect an editor who will take that string out and make it into television, and who will go through and say, here are the reaction shots. Here's a better beat. Here's something more fun. Here's something more poignant that I'm just not thinking of because I'm going kind of in order and they can, they've got the skill set. As a producer, I shouldn't let you in on the secret, but I think 90% of a producer's job is to figure out what kind of crazy their editor is and work with them to bring out the best.
And vice versa. So that works both ways.
No, all producers are very, very normal. What are you talking about?
They're all stable. They're all stable. I love that. I love that you're doing string outs. The paper edit back in the day.
Oh man.
Before producers were hopping on machines is fine, but I mean, it's like you're like, and then you have to get a string out already strung out, that just of sound bites and beats and maybe like a title placeholder for this B-roll goes here, this bite we're getting in a month, so that'll go here, leave a hole for that, so like I love that when I get that from a producer. That
the poor editor on Tight and Nerdy really didn't get many string outs from us, unfortunately, because we were all. This was back when the industry was thriving, so we, my producing partner Jonathan and I both had jobs, and we were, we would try to get her. We got her paper outlines, and we would say, I think this bite might go here, and what, just please go with God. This is just as much her film as it is ours. I mean, she really built it into a space where we could look at a 3-hour initial cut and say, okay, this is great, and here's what can go, because these other versions of these beats are more powerful, or whatever it was. And we just spent forever whittling it down until we ended up with what you saw.
I'm guessing ScriptSync was your editor's best freaking friend.
Yes. Yeah,
without
we did.
ScriptSync, it would have been a nightmare, I'm sure.
Yeah, we did spring for some for our
the ultimate package,
our transitions or our transcriptions. And I think now transcriptions are free via AI, but back then we had to pay.
Yeah. Now it's just a right click.
Yep.
Select, transcribe this clip.
Yep.
And it creates the ScriptSync for you. I mean, it couldn't be better.
It is crazy.
Amy Loprest is asking, did you find your work in reality TV helped you in making the documentary, since it was your very first documentary, especially? Or were there things you had to unlearn? I like how you...
That's a great question, Amy. I will say that some of the things I didn't have to unlearn it because I really hate it when this happens. But I work mostly in post on these shows, but I also go out in the field and do interviews as well. And one of the things that drives me insane when I'm not doing the interview is when people aren't listening to their companions, their subjects, and it makes me crazy if someone doesn't ask a follow-up, if a producer is just checking questions off on a sheet without having a conversation with them. It's a bummer in post, when I'm like, you're so close to what could be a great answer, and if you're not asking the right question and you're not vibing with the person, it just makes me crazy. So I was very, I really wanted to get to know these people as humans, and that I think was very helpful. So sort of unlearning other producers' issues in this case, I guess.
I can imagine that you're so sharp and on it, that I can just imagine that you were completely like, I know how to take the reins of this documentary. I mean, documentary is essentially a reality show, honestly.
It is, and it's like the old school Osbournes type reality show where we're going in kind of blind. I had no idea what this movie was going to be about when we started shooting, other than it's going to have Weird Al strip teases in it. But like a good example is talking with Audra. I had no idea what her family background was until we sat there on her floor in her living room, in her home, and we just started hanging out and talking. And she gave us some of the greatest moments in this film, I think. You know, they're very honest, very heartbreaking. And it's, you know, it's a beautiful human story that I could not have predicted,
Right.
you know, that first night seeing them on stage.
Right.
There's just no way to do it.
Right.
You know, and that's the thing, like being open to a conversation like that gets you places that you could have imagined.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And it shows. I mean, it was a lot. There was a lot of impact on that.
And each of these women had that moment with us, like during those conversations. And it's a ton of fun. And I love connecting with human beings on that level, because I just think I think people are fascinating.
A quick question from Joe Townsell that I want to address. What if the producer and editor are the same person? And my feeling is when I see that a producer is also the editor of it and there's no other editor, it's just the producer, I believe that producer has a fool for an editor.
Yes.
Is my feeling. If I'm doing a project that's entirely like I'm doing the whole project myself, right? Like I'm making this, I'm literally getting feedback from as many people as I can. I'm sending cuts to, you know, I'll rope a friend in. I have a friend, Christy Ward, who I have roped in many times where I'm like, you're my producer. Nice. And I just send her cuts and she just gives me feedback. Like, I'm just like, you're the producer on this. Where's it going? It's going nowhere. It's going on Instagram. It doesn't matter where it's going. I like that collaboration. I love
other brains on this. You know, Jonathan and I'm very lucky to have a partner like him in this project, because he really, I have some weaknesses, just a couple. Just a few, a handful, but Jonathan can like swoop in and be like, you're being crazy, and here's the solution. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yes.
Please apologize to Jonathan for not also having him on the show. No, I don't know him personally.
This is for me. No.
Yeah. This is your moment.
Yes. No, Jonathan's wonderful. You probably met him very briefly at the San Fran screening.
I
think a lot going on there.
There was a lot to juggle with that.
It was our first time showing it in a room full of people, which really freaked me out, honestly.
Did it really? Have been better received, don't you think? I mean,
I was so relieved.
Yeah, I loved it. I was so relieved that I loved it. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, please don't make me have to lie to this very nice person that I like so much. So it was a huge relief I was like, no, this is fantastic. Yeah. From the outset, it's good. From the outset, it's good. Let's talk super quickly about the fact that the documentary formerly known as Showgals. So you started this as Showgals.
Yes. It was a pun with Al's name in it.
That's
exactly why we had to change the name, because everyone was like, oh, what? Huh?
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't landing unless you saw it printed in a very specific kind of way.
Right. Right. Yeah. With Al big.
Al.
Right. Okay. Good. That answers that question. I think this is better. Tight and nerdy. I think it's perfect for it.
I appreciate that.
And then Joe Towns also asks, will you let us know when it's available to view? I freaking will. Absolutely.
Please do.
Pimp the living crap out of it. And yes, me too. Weird Gals. Was there you go.
It was either that or Bear to be Stupid was our other alt title.
Bear to be Stupid is also good. I feel like either way that could have cut and been good. Let me really quick. I lost my place for a second. Let's for the viewing audience, let's go to tightandnerdymovie.com.
Oh, I know that address.
It's also beartobestupid.com.
Beartobestupid.com is where our fundraising brings you. So if you'd like to make a tax-deductible donation to help us complete the film.
Tax-deductible donation.
Yeah. We're here to help you help us or something.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. beartobestupid.com. If you'd love to help out and listen, I'm not getting a kickback from this. I'm not on the payroll.
You're no shill
of big novelty song. So I'm getting no money from this. But if you'd love to help them out and help them with the finishing of it, I'm assuming, are things color corrected? Has this gone to online?
Not yet.
You're just waiting on it?
No, because we're not locked yet. We can't lock until those legal clearances are done, because God forbid we might have to recut some stuff.
Right.
And then I'm going to recut my wrists. No, sorry. That is not okay to say.
I will say something that people don't realize is that the color correction and online process is incredibly expensive. So
it is incredibly expensive. Mixing is incredibly expensive. We are getting friends and family rates from our friends.
And family.
But it's still, we ran a pretty successful Kickstarter and we have exhausted all those funds. So we're just kind of, throwing in money when we have it.
Maybe a re-kick for finishing funds.
God, that feels just mean. Also, Kickstarters are not easy, and God.
And now you've got to get gifts and things, and it's a lot.
I am looking forward to playing with the swag that will come. I claim swag. I claim swag immediately. You can have some swag.
So please. Good. Yes. Okay.
This counts as producing.
I will. We'll repimp the whole thing later, and I'll earn my swag. Damn it. But so Bear to Be Stupid. Please, if you got a mind to, let's help them finish the film. If you'd like to keep up with the film, on Facebook, Tight and Nerdy Movie on the Facebooks.
Yes.
And Tight and Nerdy Movie on the Instagrams.
Yes. And we're also on Blue Sky at the same address.
Blue Sky,
Tight and Threads. Nerdy. Yeah, we're on all the socials that aren't Nazi adjacent.
If a Nazi owns it, we're not on it.
We are out.
Which I'm glad, and I'm going to follow you on Blue Sky and Threads. I'm already well on the other platforms for sure.
Yes, I always forget about those two because they're so new.
Yeah. Blue Sky has really caught fire in the great Twitter exodus.
Yes.
But yeah, everybody's loving it. We're all wanting to see it.
Me too.
And to free and tax deductible, two things we love. This is true.
Yes.
Chris, I'm also an XX. Got to get off those Nazi platforms.
Yes.
But yes, so keep an eye out, folks. Keep an eye out. You definitely when it finally hits, and Lordy, I hope that's sooner than later. Please go and see this movie. It is tremendous. The gals are phenomenal. It's really, and if they're still out there touring, if they come to where you're at, go see them. The show was spectacular.
Yeah. It was wild.
Really wild.
And I've seen them a bunch of times, obviously, but it had been a while. I mean, they sort of, COVID shut everything down, and they, life gets in the way, but they reunited in January or February for Sketchfest, and their show was unbelievable.
It was off the hook.
I mean,
and the crowd was
wild.
Terrific.
Yeah. It was great.
The crowd was also terrific.
Night.
Yeah. It was a fantastic night overall. if there's a pun to be had, he's going to grab it. And Chris Rulebach, I just want you to meet Frederick Brody, because the two of you should go off in a corner and have a pun off between the two of you. All right, it's getting to be the top of the hour.
Oh my goodness.
So that I told you this stuff goes fast. Let's really quickly, let's just take a look at this super quick.
I'm Pickles Cantaro, and I am the founder and fearless leader of Tight and Nerdy, the world's first and only all Weird Al inspired burlesque troupe. Yeah, I can't even say it with a straight face, but it's amazing. This is my love letter to Al. It's my weird, naked love letter to Al. And he hasn't sent me a cease and desist letter yet, so.
Oh, Jonathan is here. Jonathan Ruane is here.
Is he here?
Producer, co-director.
Jonathan!
Hooray, Jonathan.
Hello.
The hero of the hour.
Love it. So hey, let's wrap things up. Let me make sure. Did I ask you everything I wanted to ask you about? I think I did.
That's all we need.
I think I did. Really quickly, before we sign off, I want to remind folks that over on the YouTubes, which you're already on right now,
yes.
You're right here. You might as well hop over to Weber Internet Thingy. Why? Because he's going to be playing stuff from Jack Webb's radio show, his absurd comedy show. I can't even wrap my mind around Jack Webb being funny. So I'm going to be there. Join us. The chat over there is super lively. The folks from the Weber Internet Thingy crowd, thank you so much for coming over here and keeping our chat going. Yes, you have, and you should be jealous of his puns. Jonathan, thank you so much. That is super awesome of you. And then, so don't forget, that's happening in 3 minutes. So in these last 3 minutes, I want to remind you, fine folks right here, info at nleacademy.com. That's me. Send me any of your questions. We've got an Avid guide. If you're an Avid editor, you want to see what my favorite Avid settings are, what I think are the most important Avid settings, get that free PDF. You're going to need that, Jeff. I'll send that to you.
Thank you.
Don't forget, come take a free consult with me. It's free. It's our favorite price for everything. And most importantly, June Bootcamp. If you are an editor watching this and you want to learn Avid, I've got you 2 days, 5 hours each day. You're going to walk away knowing Avid. So at the very least, knowing the basics of Avid. Use the coupon code YTBC25. That will get you, brings the cost down to $50. $50, that's what? 2 Starbucks coffees at most, right? So, I mean, come on. In this economy, you can't afford to pass up that deal.
Yes. Sign me up.
Dude, I'm signing you up, man. Let's
deferred
do
payment
it.
Again, sorry.
Yeah, of course, deferred pay, as always. TitanNerdyMovie.com. Go ahead and visit that and help out for the finishing of the movie.
We'll also accept good vibes if you can't afford cash. Just send us love.
All of it. Bring it.
Pearly Gates is here, by the way. Oh, my goodness.
Pearly Gates is here. Where's Pearly
Bam
Gates?
Can herself.
Look at that. That's not Margaret Cho. Goddamn right. It's Pickles Cantaro. Christine, thank you. David.
Thank you, Christine.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, David Baker. You're going to love that. You're going to bring it to Chicago. He's going to take it everywhere. It's going to blanket the globe.
I'm not in charge of that.
Better get my $27 worth. You will, sir. You will. Okay. Hop over to Weber Internet Thingy. I want to thank everyone for tuning in, but most especially, thank you, Jeff Nucera. You are the coolest of the cool. I love you so much. Mwah, mwah, mwah. You're the best of the best, dude.
Thank you so much, everyone.
We will see you next month for the next live. And thank you for tuning into this one. We will catch you later. Take care and good night.
Bye.